What's cracking, y'all? You are now watching Boo TV. Appreciate you for stopping in. Like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell, stay notified, and let's get into the topic for today. What's cracking, y'all? Back with some more Larry Bird content. Quick shout out to the Bird Gang. You guys have been fantastic supporters and always thriving and basking in the clover. You know what I mean. So, big shout out to Dutch T, yet again, combing through the internet, finding all that succulent Larry Bird content for us to ingest together. So, it looks like the Larry Bird Museum in Terre Haute, Indiana has finally opened. And she provided some links with the Larry Bird interviews, the Larry Bird press conference, I guess I should say, Larry Bird speech, and then a video that has the entire special broadcast that includes the news coverage and the Larry Bird speeches that she provided in different links. So in the description of this video, I'll put all the links, but I'm just going to react to the special broadcast, which encompasses everything she submitted. All right, so make sure you check the timestamps in this video because this is an hour long. So if you just want to hear what Larry Bird has to say, I'll provide those timestamps so you can skip to those sections of the video very easily if you're not too concerned with the news coverage and the other speeches that other people may give about this subject. All right, so a couple months ago I actually put out a video reacting to some coverage of the Larry Bird Museum and its plans while it was still in its building phase, but here we are today. I will put the link to the other Larry Bird video regarding the museum in the description of this video as well. Everything's ready to go. I'm excited to get into this. I'm excited to hear Larry Bird talk. It's always a blessing to hear Larry Bird, get in front of the cameras and speak his mind. So I'm excited to get into this one. Shall we?
The series tomorrow, only on today. From downtown Terre Haute, a WTWO special report. The grand opening of the Larry Bird Museum.
Well, good morning, everyone, and welcome to an extended edition of Good Day Live. I'm joined by the one and only legend, Grant Pugh.
Good Day Basketball. We're going to change the name today. We're starting early. It's Good Day Live combined with Good Day Basketball. What a scene this is downtown, right? Larry just took the stage. We're set for a special day.
Yeah, literally, Larry took the stage just seconds before we came on the air, and the crowd erupted with cheers. He is here. The man, the myth, the legend has arrived for his special day.
He has, and the energy, excitement's kind of building. We got here about 9:30 early this morning. People have gathered. People are backed up all the way down towards 8th Street. They're ready for a Hoops Fest. They're ready to see this museum, and of course, to hear from the legend.
Yeah, it's going to be a day filled with activities here in downtown Terre Haute. But we remind you, the museum is not open to the public today. So if you're watching right now thinking, oh, I got to get down there, not yet. It's a special day today, but the museum will open, and you can always check out their website anytime if you want to see that, because, again, those hours will be extended. So.
I think the first...
So if anybody's just curious, this was broadcasted in the beginning of June. I don't know when I'm going to post this video, but this was broadcasted in the beginning of June. Just for your situational awareness.
Couple of...
I think we're ready for the opening, so we're going to step out of the way and let you see what's going on the stage behind us for this big grand opening ceremony.
RGO Solutions, and I'll be your MC for today's program. I'm pleased to represent the Vigo County Capital Improvement Board and move this program toward the finale, where we have the opportunity to hear from Larry Bird himself, which I know is why you're all here.
Of course. Why else would we be?
So let's get this party started. Welcome to the new and revitalized downtown Terre Haute, a place of nearly 150 businesses, 20 restaurants, the Wabash Riverfront, common ground for thousands of college students, thousands of residents, and now, with the Larry Bird Museum, 8 museums within walking distance to one another right here in downtown Terre Haute. Now for the official welcome, let me introduce you to the podium. Mayor Brandon Sackman, the 43rd mayor of the city of Terre Haute, as he likes to call it, Paradise.
Paradise.
Who will be jumping out of a plane on Saturday at the Terre Haute Air Show, so stay tuned. And Commissioner Chris Schweitzer, current president of the Vigo County Capital Improvement Board, and our favorite backup to the backup point guard for his JV team during his time at West Vigo High School. This should be a treat. Come on, gentlemen.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. As your mayor and a lifelong basketball fan, it is my honor to stand before you today. We are here to celebrate a legend, a man who brought Indiana to the forefront of basketball greatness. Yes, folks, it is the one and only Larry Bird. Larry soared to heights that many can only dream of. He led the Celtics to 3 NBA championships, earned multiple MVP awards. He showed the nation that the basketball school in this state starts with ISU. He made trash talking an art form, and I think we're all pretty lucky that Twitter was not alive back then. I can't imagine what we would have looked like. As we open the museum today, let's celebrate his legacy, his achievements, and the countless hours of joy he brought to fans around the world. May this museum inspire future generations to shoot for the stars, or at least a three-pointer. To the students and kids in attendance and in the audience, dream big, fight for those dreams. Know that every single day is game day. And if you fight and train with a tenacious effort like Larry, maybe one day we'll be building a museum for you. With that, it is my pleasure to introduce West Vigo's very own backup point guard at 5'8.5", Chris Schweitzer.
I'm going to be pausing periodically, as I should do as a reactionist. Is that even a word? A reactor. As a reactor to videos. Well, it's early, man. Y'all leave me alone. I'll be pausing it to say what I gotta say. So, because I'd be forgetting things if I wait to the end of the video. I don't want to take notes during the video, but I wish we could have the Larry Bird people here, the Bird Gang, who are the most hardcore Larry Bird fans I have ever met. You guys are so intelligent on Larry and his entire career, his accomplishments, even the little things that, casuals wouldn't know about, but a true Larry Bird fan knows. Y'all know everything. You guys should be the ones presenting all of this for Bird. No papers needed, no notes. It's all in here. You guys are amazing. Let's continue.
Good morning. I'm sure some of you still know how to do this. Can we get a Larry chant? Larry, 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 Larry. Welcome back to Terre Haute, Larry. We're glad to have you here. Thank you so much. I have the opportunity and honor to serve as the president of the Vigo County Capital Improvement Board, for which I'm very thankful for. This is a long time coming. This is nearly 2.5 years of progress, and it was tough to get to this point, and we're here today. So I want to thank all of you for coming here today. Hope you take the opportunity to reserve your spot for the museum tomorrow and here on out, and enjoy your time in Terre Haute, and thank you for coming so much. We appreciate it.
The next two individuals have played a vital role in steering the Larry Bird Museum ship from beginning to end. They worked side by side to navigate the ins and outs and ups and downs. They worked with numerous vendors and guided big decisions that led to today's exciting events. First, John Marvel, former Vigo County Commissioner and CIB board member, was a part of this project from its inception nearly 8 years ago. From the convention center to the museum, he didn't give up on the dream to bring this museum to our downtown. John kept a steady hand over this project, and in a moment, we'll join Terry Conley at the podium. Terry Conley joined the CIB nearly 4 years ago and joined John on this journey at the beginning of her service to the board. she worked quietly behind the scenes to not just make it happen, but with determination to ensure that every detail was considered. I even caught her yesterday going through the museum meticulously one more time. With that, it is my pleasure to ask both John and Terry to tell you a little bit more about their journey. John, Terry.
This is exciting. As we open the doors to the Larry Bird Museum, you will find inspiration through a remarkable journey. A journey that started from Larry's early days in a small town in Indiana. Whether through a league or a pickup game in the park, life skills are often learned.
Boy, that suit is fresh. Larry Joe, I see you, boy.
Learned through the game of basketball. Throughout the museum, you will see powerful images and quotes from Larry and others that display these life lessons of unrelentless hard work, the ability to overcome obstacles, as well as the importance of believing in yourself, all leading to Larry Bird's profound accomplishments. The museum offers a complete and interactive experience that showcases Bird's life and career through never-before-seen interviews with coaches, teammates, and rivals. The museum allows you to test your basketball knowledge through trivia questions, as well as the opportunity to shoot a free throw with some advice from the legend himself.
Gotta get that Larry Bird form. That high arcing shot over his head. Boy, he can't block that. Has anyone ever seen Larry Bird get blocked on a jump shot? I'm not sure if I've ever seen that before. I'm sure it's might have happened at least once. Maybe not.
Edition, rare memorabilia, awards, and personal stories will bring his legacy to life. You will have a deep appreciation for Bird's impact on the game of basketball and his inspirational story from those simple beginnings to an NBA legend. The past several years, John Marvel and I have worked on a committee of talented and dedicated individuals to create this experience. Just as teamwork is important in basketball, it took a lot of teamwork to get here today. The one person there's so many people to thank, but we have one person that we really must thank. That one person, Larry Bird. We're forever, yes.
Clap it up.
For that, we are forever grateful that you chose the heart of downtown Terre Haute to tell your story. The museum is more than a tribute. It is an immersive journey into the heart and spirit of Larry Bird. And we are very excited to give the fans a glimpse of the man behind the legend. Thank you.
Thank you. Well, this next individual, he's been the catalyst for the revitalization of downtown Terre Haute. He believed when others questioned what was next. He shared a vision for the future of a downtown full of businesses, people, and community connections. A vision that included new hotels, new restaurants, revitalized buildings, murals, like the new one we have here today, and an overall hustle and bustle of activity. A vision that included a Larry Bird Museum for the people of Terre Haute and the state of Indiana. For those of you who know Greg Gibson, you know he prefers I not say any of these things about him. In fact, he's not liking this one bit, I'm sure, right? Yeah, does not like it. But it needs to be said and more. He attributes his love and service for his community to his parents, Max and Jackie. And he continues that legacy with new sacrifices and traditions along with his wife, Amy, his daughter, Lucy, and his son, Jack. Although, Greg, Amy really is the cool one, so we all know that. That's okay. And I will say this, I'm not sure why Larry likes you so much, but Terre Haute has benefited for over 40 years, so we are thankful for that friendship, so thank you. Now, I could continue, but I believe in the power of pictures over words. So I'll leave the audience with this little photo. Is there a photo up here? Yeah. And Larry and Greg, if you can't see that, you should probably turn around and take a good look. Okay, you want one more look? You might want to look one more time. That's pretty good. So, Greg, if we're not friends after today, well, I'll do better next time. But in the meantime, it is my pleasure to introduce my friend, community leader, advocate for the state of Indiana and this community, Greg Gibson.
Well, you can tell by that picture that Larry and I have been friends for a very, very long time. We also share a similar taste in fashion. I think I still own those shorts. Thanks to the Capital Improvement Board, Vigo County, the City of Terre Haute, and Larry Bird fans everywhere. It's my great pleasure to help introduce a man who truly needs no introduction. A man whose skill with a basketball, fierce determination, and competitive fire has amazed us for many, many years. And he continues to dazzle us today. Larry Bird's a true basketball icon, a living legend, and a dear friend. Larry's truly been a huge influence on my life. The close relationship between he and the Gibson family spans 48 years and has been a true blessing to all of us. Being a second hometown also blesses the city of Terre Haute. Bird has brought our city unmatched recognition and benefit over the past 4.5 decades. I'm very excited to see the Larry Bird Museum become a reality for Terre Haute, the state of Indiana, and basketball enthusiasts everywhere. This museum is not only a tribute to his greatness on the court, but a testament to the impact he's had on the lives of so many. For me, it's a reminder of great times and amazing adventures, an era of brilliance in basketball. Nobody played the game like Larry Bird, and I'm not sure anyone ever will again. To help prove that point and to help introduce Larry, please watch the screen for a video that illustrates some of that brilliance. Thank you.
Real quick, anybody that's watching right now, are you from Terre Haute? What's it like? Like living down there, living inside that charming city. I don't know, reminds me of Mayberry, if you know it. And for all my Andy Griffith fans out there. What's it like, man? Like, do you really feel the essence and aura of Bird in the city? Let me know. Hey, who's the cameraman here? Who's the cameraman? You're failing. You had one job.
Now his claim to fame is just the way he plays the game. Indiana has a new state of bird. He is the pick of the frozen. Yes, his fame still grows.
Indiana is a new state bird.
From out of old French Lick on up to ISU, he came to play some basketball.
Love that pass. Love that play right here.
Throughout the history of the NBA, there have been players who were great at one aspect of the game. Deadly shooters, outstanding ball hawks or shot blockers and so forth. But Larry Bird is one of only a handful of NBA stars who excelled in every facet of the game. And that's what defines greatness in any
Very crazy, bro.
He was a winner. He was a champion.
I've seen the play 100 times, but it's always amazing. Larry out here playing with these fools, man. That's dope. They got his coaching career in there too. I like that. Dude came to the Indiana Pacers. Immediate impact.
Champions. I won this one for Terre Haute. You won it for Terre Haute, I'll tell you that.
Hello, Terre Haute.
Hey.
It's always good to be back here. I want to thank everyone that had anything to do with putting this museum together. I know it's not easy. It takes a lot of time, a lot of people. But I think you'll enjoy it. I know there'll be thousands of young kids come through there. And like I always say, if just one of them gets a feeling to do something, not only in basketball, but other sports, and successful at it, it's done its job. You know, my journey started over 40 years ago. And it's not a journey that you can go alone. Never really felt I went alone because of fans like you. We won together, we lost together, we stayed together, and here we are again today. The one thing that I always tried to figure out was in 1979, how in the heck did Indiana State get to the final game of the NCAA tournament? I mean, think about that. The year before, or before the year started, I think we only had 3 starters back or 3 players back. They put together a team that believed in one another, played together. Everyone knew their role. We never thought we was going to get there. We didn't even talk about it. We just took it one game at a time. The next thing you know, we're in the final game. And once we got there, we thought we was going to win. Just unfortunately, we played against a better team that day. But my career, I'm a shy introvert. How in the heck I keep getting up here on stage talking to thousands of people? It's always been amazing to me, but it's because of the love and respect that I've always had for my fans and the love and respect that they show me back. And today is a special day for me because you're here. If you were not here, it means nothing. So thank you, and God bless each and every one of you.
When I view Larry Bird, like, he's like the people's champ in the world of basketball. Like, he's just, it's his nature, his personality. You know, he doesn't look at himself like he's above everybody else or anything like that. He's one of the people, man. And like you say, he's an introvert. He's a small town guy. Like, I look at Larry Bird like he's the people's champ. Yeah.
Okay, Larry. All right. Well, I think there was a chant that had started and I stopped it when I got up here. So let's just try that one more time. Larry, 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 Larry.
Come on, people. Come on, people.
We may not get to do that again for a while, Larry, so we got to get it in now. Larry, thank you. You have made Terre Haute proud over and over again. Thanks to you and your family for being with us today. You had quite a few people made the journey with you, so thank you. Thanks for allowing us to celebrate you and your legacy and the impact you've made on Terre Haute, our great Hoosier state, and the game we all love. After all, it is Indiana. Please stay and enjoy the live music, which will be performing here in just a few minutes, the beer garden, food, games, and activities, and the 3-on-3 tournament, which will be right over here on 8th Street.
A 3-on-3 tournament?
All over the Wabash Valley. High school standouts, so you're going to see some good basketball. And first things first, we'll have a performance by the TJ Experience Dance Club prior to the 3-on-3 tournament. So please stick around. This goes on all day until 4 o'clock. And enjoy the festivities. Thanks to Downtown Terre Haute for putting this together in such a meaningful way. And so, ladies and gentlemen, enjoy this Hoops Fest right here in Downtown Terre Haute. And thank you.
Okay, so I said it was broadcasted in the beginning of June. Okay, I thought the video went up the day the broadcast went up. So, more like the end of May. My apologies. Video was posted at the beginning of June. For some reason, I thought it was a live stream. I think that's why I thought that. Previous live stream. Dude, I like to... Like, I can't play like I used to, but... Part of me wants to get in on these tournaments. If only my knees...
Know that broadcast of our current opening ceremony has completed. Grant will be headed inside to where there will be a press conference with Larry Bird coming up in just a few minutes. So stay tuned with us as the press conference will soon be getting underway. We will continue to broadcast until we get inside with Larry Bird. But for now, we're going to try to talk to some more individuals who have been a huge part of this day. This doesn't happen easily. I will tell you, there's a lot of organization that goes into this. And so for the city of Terre Haute to be able to pull this off, once again, this is a really big deal for our city. There are people here from all over the country. We have actually been talking to people from Connecticut, Ohio, Kentucky. As the crowd starts to disperse, though, I want to talk to one of the people who can tell you a lot about the planning that went into this day. Josh Alsop, thank you for being here with us.
Thanks for having me. It's a fantastic, beautiful day outside today.
I mean, this is Chamber of Commerce kind of weather. We ordered this just for you.
I always say for these types of events, I always pray a little bit, get a little bit closer to God, and it's always been amazing. So,
you know, for today, everybody wanted to get a little closer to Larry, and I don't think you could have asked for a better setting here. Everybody was packed deep and ready to look and see and be in awe of this moment. How did you feel about how things went?
It turned out incredible. I mean, the amount of people that came out, fans of Larry, not only that live in Terre Haute, but also came from other states. I heard some people from Canada came to this. Many media outlets. It's been incredible. At least a few thousand people. It's been so crazy, it's hard to tell. But the turnout's been amazing, and we're excited to have all the other festivities happening until 4 p.m. today.
Let's talk about those festivities, because we may have people watching at home right now that are like, oh, man, I can't believe I didn't go. You can still come down.
Yes, we're going to have a beer garden. We have food trucks. We have a 3-on-3 tournament happening from 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. all sorts of things. We have a Papa Shop for kids, inflatables, and everything's free except the food and the beer. So we encourage you to come down, have a great time, celebrate Larry, and celebrate basketball.
Now, as for the museum itself, I've tried to remind people it's not open to the public just yet, correct?
Yes, there's a website that you can go on and take and make a reservation for starting tomorrow. Most of those spots are taken, but you can go to the Larry Bird Museum website, start making your RSVPs, and get on the list. And the tickets are free. They just want you to make that reservation in advance.
LarryBirdMuseum.com is that website, and I know we have that available to show people. That's also a great website and a resource for those down the road. It'll have hours and information, correct?
Yes, it will. It will have all of that information on it, so we encourage you to go to that website.
How much does something like this mean to the city of Terre Haute? Because you understand putting the pulse on something like this is big for our community.
Absolutely. I mean, the feeling that you have out here, just the energy. You know, I was born after the 1979 season, but having this last ISU basketball season, kind of getting a glimpse into what that ISU basketball fever looks like, it's just incredible to celebrate that past, that history, and look towards the future, but really celebrate Larry because he's done so much for Terre Haute. So yeah, just the feeling that we have here in Terre Haute right now is just unexplainable. You know, there's other things happening this weekend, the air show, the Mill concert tomorrow, all sorts of events. So it's just an incredible time to be in Terre Haute.
Now, I will say this too. When we talk about all these events happening behind us, we're seeing a dance squad out here. We're seeing a lot of kids, a lot of youth.
Yes.
When you talk about the impact it has as far as, you know, they see this as a city that maybe they want to stay in now, and I think that's big.
Absolutely. I mean, these are memories that they're going to take with them forever. They're going to remember all the people here in downtown getting to celebrate the Larry Bird Museum and doing some fun activities here on the street. So, yeah, these are the sorts of things that really build up community pride, which is really what we want here in Terre Haute.
I never really thought about that. That is a very good point. Like the influence, the historic influence, and the success he had, how that can help nurture and build belief in a young person growing up in a small town like that, where some people may say, hey, it's best you just get out of here, man. Don't stick around this area. But you can be successful in places like this. You can. I don't know what the crime rate is in Terre Haute. I would have to, it seems like a little peaceful town, but I know, I mean, I guess every state has their areas where it's just nothing but, you know, like Gotham City, like a smaller Gotham City. There's no schooling opportunities. There's no educational opportunities, rather. Drugs and violence have festered and have become deep-rooted in the community. In places like that, it's like, hey, man, go to college, go to the military, do something, but you got to get out of here. There's nothing for you here. There are places like that. But for some people, a small town like Terre Haute is exactly their speed, regardless. This is where they thrive. This is their haven. This is their utopia. But absolutely, you got these kids, they really don't know or can fully grasp Larry Bird as a person, as a basketball player, and what he means. And that'll come with age. You know, a child's brain has to develop. And I'm sure their parents have gave them some understanding at a young age. But for them to be a part of this and see a legend, an icon known around the world, and their community came up from where they're growing up, that's huge. That is huge.
And again, I think the feeling that we all have right now in our community is incredible and special, and we need to not take it for granted.
You know, it's funny, as you're saying that, Josh, I remember back in 1979, I was there when Larry came back from the NCAA tournament, and the feeling I had as a young child then, and of course I was very young, right, Josh? You can tell.
Yes,
I was very, yeah, see, it was a big deal, but it is a big deal here downtown right now. Once again, it's all, thanks, Josh, for talking to us. Really appreciate your time. I have a special guest I want to introduce you to, because when I said someone came from Connecticut, I had to have proof in the pudding, right? Hello.
Hi.
Tell me your name.
Allison.
Allison, you're here from Connecticut?
I'm here from Connecticut.
Did you fly in just for this event?
I did.
Wow. Tell me how long you've been a Larry Bird fan.
Oh, since I was a kid. I'd say I peaked in 84, 85 season probably.
Yeah?
Yeah. Boston Celtics.
So have you always been a Celtics fan too, and Larry just came into that?
Always a Celtics fan, but I was such a kid that, I really didn't get into it until Larry took over.
What do you think about this community embracing him as much as you do? Because this city loves Larry Bird.
Yeah, I'm so glad that I came here to see him. I met some of the nicest people. They treat him like family, and you can tell that they grew up with him, and it's just such a family environment that I'm so glad that I got to see him here.
May I ask some of your best memories? Like, if you look back as being a fan of Larry Bird, were there games or specific series that you remember that really impacted you?
Yeah, of course, the '86 series was amazing. That's the best team I've ever seen. But just watching him over the years, really, it's about his work ethic and the way that he makes everyone on the team a better player and getting them involved. And it was just a phenomenal to watch. I was lucky enough where the Celtics would come to Hartford, Connecticut 4 games a year. So they would take a charter bus an hour and a half and bless us with 4 games a year. So I had season tickets to those games. So his famous over the backboard shot and some really far out 3-pointers.
I have to ask, did you come in early by chance for the Celtics-Pacers games and part of that series, the last 2 games?
I did not. Unfortunately, I have 2 children and a family at home that need me. So I was just able to sneak away last night, and I have to fly back early tomorrow, so I'm actually going to miss the museum part, but we'll be back.
You'll be back to visit, and that's what we hope, is that people like you will come from all over the world, really, to enjoy and experience this. I'll tell you, I was at that Pacers game. The Celtics fans were large in number, and I overheard them saying, I wish that museum was open.
Oh, I know. This is such a great thing for the city.
Thank you for talking to us. A pleasure to meet you. Thank you for your time.
Bye, Allison.
See, there you go. Larry Bird's impact can be felt in so many places. People will travel from around the country just to be part of something special like this. That's the impact he has. That's the feeling that you get down here right now. And if you were tuned in to hear him speak, I think you mutually could understand his love for Terre Haute is as equal as Terre Haute's love for him. You know, you felt that back in just a few years ago when he came back to Terre Haute for the 1979 team to be honored once again at the Holman Center. I think we actually have video of when that happened, because once again, that was a big deal for this community. For Larry and his teammates to be back, it was a big deal. So we are talking about an opportunity today for some of these people who haven't seen him since he came back for that reunion of the 1979 basketball team. So folks were enthusiastic to come down here today just to get a glimpse. You know, a lot of folks won't get up close and personal. I saw people bringing basketballs and old memorabilia, and I'm sure they're in hopes of getting an autograph. And though that may not happen for them today, it doesn't matter. They still take away the great memories that they have. And Luke, I don't know if you can see over my shoulder the start of, they're almost finished actually, with the side of the Copper Bar where they have taken what was the cover of Sports Illustrated and repainted it. So I know we have video back in the studio. Again, that is a wonderful dedication to Larry, to ISU, just part of the great art that is in downtown Terre Haute. That particular mural was the cover of the Sports Illustrated magazine, and again, it was a big deal for Indiana State University at that time to experience what was the opportunity to put Terre Haute on the map, the opportunity to put Indiana State University on the map. It was a big deal for folks back then, and it's a big deal for folks today. I also had the opportunity several years ago to go down to French Lick, and I actually got to visit Larry Bird's home. Legends was an Airbnb, and folks got to go in and see how Larry lived. Now, I will tell you, from a home standpoint, it was a relatively simplistic home for somebody who, had millions of dollars. It's where his mother lived. And what was really cool to me as we experienced the opportunity to see that space and go through all of those rooms was that there was an entire suite built for Magic Johnson. He had his own suite at Larry Bird's home in French Lick. And there was a famous commercial shot on the basketball court at that house with Magic and Larry. And when you were down there, you got a feel for the nostalgia that is going to be in this museum.
That's a beautiful kitchen.
Larry's home was filled with trophies, uniforms, awards, his Olympic uniform, the number of items that we saw when we were...
Just so y'all know, when I do go back, I live in Japan, but the day I go back to the States, or if I go for an extended period of time, I will be renting out that Airbnb and broadcasting from Larry Bird's house.
We're able to go into that home and shoot video and hear stories. It was quite impressive for me. So I'm sure this museum is kind of a special place for Larry, because now there's some place to house all of these memories, all of these trophies, all of these awards and accolades. That's what people are going to see when they go into this museum. It's the opportunity to get a glimpse into the life that he led. I think, you know, about my own children and the trophy cases that we kept for them. And, you know, every parent has those sorts of memories for their children. Imagine rooms full of those memories, literally rooms full of memorabilia that will now be part of this museum. We're headed inside to Grant now, where a press conference is getting underway.
To the CIB board, as they will be able to answer those a little bit better than Larry. I do ask that when you are ready to ask a question, please raise your hand to be acknowledged. I will be calling on you to do that. And please state your name and affiliation before asking your question. Please try to limit your question to one at a time to allow others the opportunity to also ask their questions. And we also ask that you do not use flash photography. I think the lighting speaks for itself. I think we're pretty good there. And I think we're ready to go if you're ready. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
All right. We'll start with the first question. Yes, go ahead.
I'm assuming you've gotten to walk around already.
Name and affiliation, please.
Oh, sorry.
That's okay.
Have you gotten to walk through the museum?
Yes, and I'm very proud of it. I think that they got enough in there to keep everybody's interest. You know, go ahead.
Is there anything that, memories that brought back to you? Anything, favorite part of it all?
Well, there's one picture in there I seen that it was even before I went. After I dropped out of IU, I was playing in the AAU team, and I'm going, I remember that, you know. We won this tournament. It's like they call it, wasn't AAU then, but it was a tournament. And I haven't seen them guys probably since we won that championship. But there's so many things in there that brings back memories. You go from Indiana State, and then to Boston, then to coaching, then, you know, the front office. So there's just so many things to look at. And I'm very proud to just be a small part of it. I mean, there's so much work went into it. So many people had to make tough decisions to get it all pulled together. But overall, I think it's good for the city, and I think there's going to be a lot of people come through there.
Okay, we'll take a minute. Go ahead.
Thank you. Larry, you touched on that there. What's it like to see this reception today? You know, to come back and see everyone, you know, back. This is your day today.
Yeah, it's unbelievable, and that's what social media is all about, you know. Thank God he didn't have that when I was playing, you know. But the word gets out, and people always tell me all around the country that there's so many young kids wearing my jerseys and know a lot about the game. And, you know, Terre Haute has followed my career, like I said out there. You don't make these journeys alone. You got to have somebody. And I always knew Terre Haute had my back. You know, I mean, coming back in the summers and working out here and knowing a lot of the people and spending a lot of time at the boys club. But I always knew they had my back, and they still do.
Okay, go ahead, in the back.
Marty Bloodbetter, WTHIV. This is something I'm sure you've been asked before, but did you ever in your wildest dreams think that you'd be sitting up here on the stage getting ready to introduce your museum?
Hey, look. All I tried to do when I was a young kid to follow my brother's footsteps and make the varsity team. You know, that's all I wanted to do. I would have made myself proud when I got to start as a junior, and I kept playing, and obviously I loved the game. I loved other sports too, but basketball clicked for me. And like I say, the journey I've been on from the early age with basketball and where it's got me now, it's a pretty amazing journey. And it's not an easy one. There's a lot of tough times, a lot of tough losses, but a lot of good wins. And it's just unfortunate that my career didn't last longer, because I could have played more years, but the injuries started mounting up, and I always felt that we should have won at least one more championship with the team we had. We had a very good team, motivated team, but there at the end it always seemed like something happened, and we wasn't able to get that fourth one.
Next question. I will call on someone else right there in the middle. Gentleman in the middle. Yep. Yeah.
David Hughes from the Tribune Star, Terre Haute. I talked to Jim Jones a little bit before this started. Just talk about the impact Jim had on your career at Springs Valley.
Well, he's had an impact on me since I was in the 3rd grade. You know, Jim Jones is one of them coaches that when you went to the courts, there's always new paint on there, new rims, new nets, bank board was painted. He's the first guy that showed me how I'm supposed to put my hand on a basketball. He was very involved with the young kids in biddy basketball. We called it biddy basketball, 3rd grade and up. He was always in the gyms. Seemed like he's always looking for you to find games in the summer. So he's been very instrumental in everything I've done, and I owe a lot to him.
Look, I feel that the park growing up where we used to play at, or the parks back in Florida, and they were run by the community, the city, managed, maintained, but man, I mean for decades, man, no new nets, no new backboards, no new rims, courts starting to degrade, all this stuff. I'm like, man, can we get some decent hoops? I tell you what, but learning how to shoot on those double rims and all those doo-doo backboards, when you got to a hoop that was in fantastic condition, after learning how to shoot on those horrible ones, boy, everything go in.
Right.
And you grew a tremendous amount, but you didn't lose any.
Thank God I did, or I still go in that garbage truck. At 6'1", you don't play in the NBA unless you're special and very quick. But I grew from 6'1". I even grew 2 inches while I was here at Indiana State. I went from 6'7.5" to 6'9", and that really helped my game.
Okay, next question. Guy in the back.
Rich Knight from
Hi, Rich.
Hi, Larry.
We've been together a long time, Rich.
Yes, sir. How much of your stuff is in this museum that you donated? How much did you participate in putting this together? And did you have any reluctance to have a museum of your own?
Well, when they first talked about it, I didn't know what to say, you know, but it's here in Terre Haute, and then they had to get all the okays from the city and the people, and you know, they had to put a tax on something, which nobody likes taxes. But I wanted, at the end, I wanted to do it for the kids in the community, not only here in Terre Haute, but around Indiana, around the country. And I'm sure there's some people come here from around the world to see it. So, you know, it's amazing to me that I've gone from where I did growing up to where I'm at now. And it's all because of dribbling a basketball all the time. I played a lot. I played hard. I practiced a lot. I put my heart and soul in that game, and it worked out for me.
Okay. Andy, you haven't asked a question. Go ahead.
Andy, Tribune Star.
We've been together a long time, too, Andy.
After playing the slow pitch softball.
Yeah.
What I wanted to ask was, you look like you're enjoying the day-to-day, which is good to see. I know it hasn't all been a great week for you. Otherwise, how big is your collection of tie-dye shirts?
Well, a month ago, if I told Bill I needed some, he would have sent 4,000 to my house. But you know, the passing of my good friend, dear friend, Bill Walton, people don't understand. They just see him on TV.
Rest in peace to Bill Walton. If you're a Bird fan, you probably love you some Bill Walton. So we recently put out a remembrance video tribute to Bill Walton, his career. Go check it out. It's in the Bill Walton playlist, but I'll also put the link to that video in the description of this one if you want to check it out, man. Rest in peace to Bill Walton, one of the greatest to ever do it. Legend.
But I always said, Bill, you don't need to tell everybody everything, but when you're together with him, it's completely different. He educates you. He's a very intelligent man. He played the game of basketball at a very high level. And not only I, but my teammates really enjoyed having him around for them 2 years in '86 and '87. They loved the guy. He brought so much energy, a lot of passion to the game. And when you played with him, it was so easy. Just throw him the ball, cut, you're going to get it back. He was never into stats. All he was into was winning. And fortunately for us, in '86, he stayed healthy, and it was a pretty easy run to the finals.
Yeah, go ahead.
Mark Ambrogi, Associated Press. It seems kind of fitting that this came right after the Celtics and Pacers.
Yeah.
Also, your impressions on this Celtics team?
Well, they're good. I can remember at the All-Star game, I told one of the owners of the Celtics I thought they had the best team in the league, and they were very good. But I'm also very proud of the Indiana Pacers. I mean, they got an upcoming team. Kevin made a great trade at midseason to bolster his front line, and I think they got a very good opportunity to keep moving on and doing very well. You know, that team with Halliburton and all the other guys, they play well together. And when the ball's moving, they win. And if they guard a little bit, they win. Sometimes they don't guard enough, but they're a very good team, and they're only going to grow together and get better.
Yeah, go ahead in the back.
Marty Loverick, WTHI again. Just kind of get your thoughts on Holman Center being remodeled. Now we have, the convention center, we have your museum. This kind of drive to get everyone to come see the product that's going to be on the floor for obviously Indiana State basketball.
Yeah, I haven't been inside since they did all the renovations, but if you think about it, I got a little street named after me. I got a statue out there. I got a museum here. Thank you, Terre Haute, but I think that's enough for a while, I mean, this city, you have no idea how much I respect this city and the people in it. See, the people is what makes a city. If you don't have good people and they come together, your city's nothing. But I don't live here, but every time I come here, I feel good. And that's all that matters. If you come into a city and you know you're going to be treated well and you treat them people well back, they're there for life. And that's what I got going on here.
Okay. Yeah, go ahead.
I'm talking about the kids and, that they're wearing their jerseys still, even, they were in California and they were playing. So what does that mean to you that your legacy is trickling down to the, younger generation?
Right. It's really interesting because a guy named John Havlicek, used to play for the Pacers, told me, Larry, don't worry about when you turn 40, nobody will know you. Here I am, 67, and I mean, you see kids all the time. You be driving down the road, oh my God, there's a kid with a Celtic jersey on. I don't know what to say about that. It's just unbelievable to me. But it's all because of that social media. They can get on and watch me play any game I ever played, and little kids like that. Obviously, my generation's getting older and they're moving on, but just seeing a few little kids, usually they get it from their dad. The dad makes them sit down and watch this video or that video. But overall, I see a lot more than you think. I mean, even if you watch the Celtic games on TV, you'll see a lot of bird jerseys from young kids in there. So, I think it's because they respected how I played. I played every game to win. I really thought I truly played as hard as I possibly could. And that's another story, because one time we got beat by Atlanta at home, and I was really upset. So about halfway home, I looked at my wife. I said, does it look like I played hard today? She goes, yeah, you played really hard, but you're just awful. So even though you play hard, you might not play well. But the one thing I did, I gave it all. And when my body started to break down, I tried to push through it, but I couldn't do it. But I know I gave the effort. And that's what these kids and my fans seen that for years, and that's why they watched.
Speaking of social media,
We got to go on to the next question one at a time, please. Thank you. Someone else have a question? Go ahead.
David Houston, Tribune Star again. Just wondering, we don't get many opportunities to talk to you in Terre Haute. How close did you follow Indiana State men's basketball?
Oh, we watched them. Yeah,
How would you assess how they did?
They did excellent.
Had a great run in the NIT.
Yeah, they had a great run, and it's fun to watch. And they moved the basketball. They was well coached. I watched them all the time. And
how'd you usually watch them? TV?
I don't watch much TV, but I think I watched Indiana State and Iowa Caitlin Clark play about the same last year, so I was watching a lot of basketball. But I do a lot of college scouting, and I was hoping one of the Indiana State players would be on the radar, you know, but you never know, they were so young. But they had a great run. You know, it's unfortunately that some of the top players left. They're in a rebuilding mode, but it brought a lot of excitement to Terre Haute, and I'm sure it was a lot of fun. I'm just sorry I wasn't here to see some of it.
Okay, we're going to take maybe one or two more questions, and then we'll go ahead and I'll do Andy, and then I'll call on you in the back, okay? Go ahead, Andy.
We've been together so long that I can remember a time when nobody thought you could talk.
Andy, relax a little bit here. Well, you know, Andy, I really didn't want to talk back then. I remember in college, when I got here, the first year we had a great year, and it seemed like all the press was always around me, and you remember that. And look, you can ask my teammates over the years, they were really jealous of me. And I tried to spread that out. So if I don't talk, well, they go to them talk. But it didn't work out very well, Andy, because they went to them to talk about me. And it was pretty sad to me that once that Sports Illustrated picture out there on that wall came out, my world changed. You know, it absolutely changed. And we had media down here. We had photographers down here taking pictures of me walking to class. And I was young, I was immature, shy, and I didn't handle it very well. But truthfully, I haven't done an interview. I don't know when my last interview's been. I've been hiding, and I've been living a good life, and this might be my last interview, you know? I mean, especially with a group.
Larry Bird, the recluse in some aspects. He say, hey, this might be my last interview. I don't think that, but, you know, after that debacle where he was involved with the NBA All-Star Weekend this season, and, you know, kind of being the forefront of that, kind of being the face of that in some regard, and how atrocious that game was, and how disappointed Larry was after promoting these players and promoting the game and telling them to come out and compete, and then they do the exact opposite. He very well might be like, man, I ain't doing this no more. I ain't doing it, especially not for the NBA. I'm done. He won't do that, though. Larry won't do that.
I do things for my teammates over the years. They all have these podcasts, which I haven't done many of them, but they all have them, so I'm sure I'll be doing a few of them. But like I said, I had a good run. I really don't have any more to say. I've said it all through interviews, through books, through my teammates. I mean, unless I come up with something new, it gets old to me. Like I go in that museum, look at something, oh yeah, I remember that. I look at a ring, yeah, I remember getting that. I'll tell you another story that still I'm shaken over to this day. I had the last game ball in the Boston Celtics. They played the New York Knicks. And a friend of mine is still there. I said, when this game's over, I want that basketball because they're tearing down the garden. And that day they had every old Celtics in there. They had Russell, Cousy, Heinz, and everybody. And we passed the ball at halftime all the way around, and it came to me, and I laid it up. So after the game, I get that basketball. You know, I'm so proud of it. So I was living here in Indianapolis, and I was coaching at the time and went on a road trip, and we had a big snow. And that spring, when that snow melted, that basketball was at the bottom of that snow pile. I looked at it, and it was all torn to pieces. All the leather tore off of it. And, well, what happened was my wife gave it to my son when he had friends over to play out there. She didn't know. And they left it out there, and it snowed on it. So there's this guy that does a lot of memorabilia, and I told him that story. He said, you still should have kept it. He said, really don't tell anybody a story because that's pretty historic. The last game ball in the Boston Garden, and you look through it in the trash. I go, well, I did. But, you know, you remember things throughout your career and things you've done and things you've seen. And I tell you, I've been blessed. You know, I've had a lot of injuries, but overall, I've been pretty good, you know. I mean, you take them losses tough and you try to get better, but You know, it's just like coaching. I mean, I coached real men. They came every day and played hard for me. They were great. Like in college, you know, you were here. I mean, nobody dreamed of us going that finals. I mean, we had guys that, you know, we had 2 guys that shot like 30% from the line, you know, and somehow we got there. It's pretty magical. Then in the pros, obviously, I played with great players, and we played in the historic Boston Garden with full crowds every night, just like at Indiana State. But what a run, what a run. I mean, it's been beautiful, and I'm getting older, and it's all come to the end, but things like the museum, I'll still keep it going, and that's what's great about it.
I promised one more in the back, and then we got to cut it off, okay? Thank you. Go ahead.
Basketball is pretty special in Indiana. How important was it that Larry Bird was born in French Lick, Indiana, to becoming a basketball?
Well, that only makes the mystique a little bit better, you know. I mean, I'm down there. French Lick had about 18 or 2,000 population. West Baden had 600 or 800 back then. You knew everybody. You knew where the courts were. It's just a mystique. And when I first came in the league, everybody always said, French Lick, what's that, you know? But like I said earlier, we had great coaches. I've been blessed with great coaches all the way through, but you know, a guy like Jim Jones doing what he did for all of us, not just me, got us started. And some guys stayed with it and some didn't. I was fortunate because I stayed with it. And it gave me a path to really get to college and get an education. You know, I can remember my mom wanted me to stay my senior year in college for one reason. That's just to finish up my college degree. And I said, Mom, I can do that after. And she goes, you're not doing it after. You're doing it now because I know that after never comes. You know, so get up there, finish your degree, and move on to where you're moving on. And that's the main reason I stayed here.
I feel that.
I didn't know if I wanted to go pro then, but they came calling. And at least you have to talk to them. And you know, the Pacers had the #1 pick that year too. And it was a tough decision, but so my mom made it for me, made it easier.
Well, thank you, Larry.
Thank you very much. Good seeing a lot of you.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Let's take you back to 2000. Indiana State knocked off the Bradley Braves to win the outright regular season championship. Bradley coach called it the Larry Bird Invitational. 13 years later, November 9th, 2013, a special day as the Larry Bird statue was unveiled outside of Holman Center in a season opener, a game broadcasted right here on WTWO. Sycamores knocked off Ball State.
I reacted to that video as well, the Larry Bird Invitational. I'll put a link to that video in the description of this one as well. So make sure you check out the description of this video because we're going to have links, Larry Bird links. Check them out.
82-73 the final. Then let's roll into January 2019, the 40th anniversary of the 79 team, as Bird, along with all of his teammates, coming back to Holman Center to celebrate the occasion. Sycamores dropped the game to Loyola, but most fans couldn't tell you the final score. But instead, the ovation that Bird and his teammates got as they were back inside a sold-out Holman Center.
Every level that I had success in having a great team.
Now, a couple of months after the Holman Center was sold out for this year's Indiana State team, Bird is back to bring more basketball magic with his museum.
It's like doubly good memories. We had Tom McClanahan telling a great story about Larry Bird. So again, it's a big day down here right now. Behind me, you can hear the cheers. They've got the Hoops Fest going on, and this will continue until 4 o'clock. There's bounce houses for kids. There's basketball. There's food vendors. There's all kinds of festivities. And one guy who knows how important all of this is Commissioner Mark Klinkenbeard. Hey, listen, this is such a big day for Terre Haute. What does this mean to Vigo County and our community?
Well, it's just amazing. You see all the people. We had, Lord bless us with some great weather today, and you, of course, yeah, just a great time. It's always good to have Larry back, and it means so much to this community. And this museum is just going to be another feather in our cap. Great things happening in the community right now.
It's an exciting time. Hey, sorry about that. Hey, no worries. No worries. That's what this is all about. Speaking of basketball, that's what I was getting ready to ask you. Do you have memories of Larry Bird that you could share?
Yeah, well, I grew up in the 70s and 80s, so watched them on TV and everything like that. But back in the day, there was McMillan Sports right across from the hotel. So when the Celtics would come into town for preseason games, they would stay there. So I got to see Larry, Kevin McHale, Casey Jones, all those guys.
I'm just watching that little kid in red sitting on the curb practicing with a miniature ball dribbling between his legs. That is a future hooper, folks.
Back in the day, and that was a really cool memory for me.
You know, it's funny because I remember the Boston connection.
Yeah.
You know, that at the time was our connection to Larry.
Yeah.
Now we've got this museum and so many things here like that are a direct link to all the good things he's done.
Yeah, oh, for sure. Yeah, it just ties everything together. You know, we're all getting older. You never know how many more times, you know, he's going to be able to make it back and things like that. So it's just great to celebrate him and celebrate this great museum and all the people that had a part in putting this together. And, you know, we can't say enough about Greg Gibson and what he does for this community. And Larry's still coming back and giving back. So it's just a great day to be a Hoshian.
You know, you mentioned Greg, and I do want to give a lot of credit because without him, this museum doesn't happen. So much of that memorabilia, not only from Larry's own collection, but I know the Gibsons had a lot of things too.
Yeah, they've had a lot of it, you know, because Larry had a lot of memorabilia, and it couldn't happen without Greg and Amy and the Gibson family. So we definitely appreciate all they do, not only for this, but for our community.
It's going to be a fun day out here. Thanks for talking to us. Why don't you go see if you can shoot a 3?
Oh, hey, I maybe can.
Thanks again. Good to see you. Mark Klinkenbeard, you know, we are in a good place right now in this community with all the great things happening all across the area. You made it
I'm
out.
back. I'm back. Larry just wrapped his press conference, news conference. You saw it, of course, live right here on WTWO. A very humbled Larry Bird. Happy to be back. He says the older he gets, the more he appreciates stuff like this. The museum, he walked through the museum. He loves the museum. He got to see a couple of things that jogged his memory. Oh, I forgot about this, or I forgot about that. And
wow,
he's telling some great stories.
I thought he was emotional out here on
you could
stage.
tell.
Was he? I didn't get to see it, obviously. Inside,
you can tell it's been a rough week for him. His friend Bill Walton passed away. Him and Bill, big buddies. Bill Walton actually came back to Terre Haute when the statue was unveiled in 2013. So a big day for basketball in Terre Haute. Of course, the air show's going on. The Pacers just made the Eastern Conference Finals. The Celtics are in the finals, so his two teams kind of there. He touched on that as well.
Yeah, you know, it's funny.
I didn't think about that, but that's true. Between the Pacers and the Celtics, yeah, I didn't think about that.
You said that because I was at Game 3, a little disappointed. But at Game 3, there were Celtics fans sitting in front of me at the game, and they said, they heard me talking. I was from Terre Haute. They're like, oh, man, I wish the museum was open.
I know, right?
We wanted to go to Terre Haute.
Oh, yeah.
That's what's going to happen. People are going to come from all over to see this museum, and it's so good for our community.
It really is, and you hope to see Indiana State basketball is going to capitalize on this, too, because think of the run they just had. There's going to be obviously a lot of new faces, some new players coming in. They're going to come down here. They're going to see this convention center. They're going to see the Bird Museum. They're going to see a newly renovated Holman Center, and we hope the Sycamores can capitalize and have another great basketball season on top of it. But you've been to a lot of big events in Terre Haute. This is a big day for basketball, and just a big day in general for Terre Haute.
Oh, no, it's huge. It's huge. I remember when they unveiled the statue.
Sure. Yep.
I remember when they honored the 79 team recently.
Oh, yeah.
So I think there are things like this that happen in the community that are centered around the sport of basketball, which, let's just be honest, it's what
Indiana.
we are.
This is, I'll take the glasses off. You got your glasses off. I mean, this is Indiana. Basketball's the bread and butter. Larry touched on that in his news conference in there as well. And just, you could tell he has an appreciation for being back here today and seeing all these people, kids that are wearing his jersey that weren't even alive when he was playing basketball for the Celtics, you know?
Yeah. Well, of course, I was alive when he came back to Holman Center in 79. We won't talk about that.
That's a story for another day.
But it was a big deal. I remember being a kid at the Holman Center, and I remember when that team came back.
Right.
And I remember every speech. I remember every moment. I remember the goosebumps I got. These kids behind us, they're going to remember all this, too.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so it's a big deal. May I ask, coming up tonight,
Sure.
you're going to have a recap.
Yeah,
of this,
coming
right?
up at 6, 5 o'clock over on WAWB, 6 o'clock on WTWO. We're going to have much more on the big day. You're going to hear from Bird again. If you missed it, you're going to hear from other people. I mean, so much hard work has been put into not only this day, but this museum. You know, you touched on it at the start of the show.
Yeah.
2018, we saw our first glimpse of it, and now it's come to fruition today.
Yeah, it's hard to believe it's been that many years.
Well, what a beautiful day. Thanks to you.
That song is amazing. Whoever's jamming back there, whew.
You and Jesse and Doppler Dan for the good weather today.
We got it, that's for sure. You mentioned the museum. There is a website.
Yes.
LarryBirdMuseum.com. LarryBirdMuseum.com. Visit that website. It'll have all the information about hours. And again, they say most of the reservations are now full.
Yes, for the first couple of days.
For the first couple
if you
days.
have to wait a couple of days, that's okay. You know?
But hey, listen, it's not too full to come downtown Terre Haute. This Hoops Fest behind us will continue on through 4 o'clock. It's a beautiful day to be downtown, celebrating not only the opening of this museum, but what will be a good weekend with the air show and all the activities. So.
Just a great weekend for Terre Haute. We got to shout out the ISU baseball team heading to Lexington as well. It's a big weekend for everything happening, not just here, but in Lexington as well with the Sycamore baseball team.
Hey, thanks for joining me today
thanks
for Good Day
having
Live.
Me. Good Day Live plus
Good Day Basketball. It's all been a good day in downtown Terre Haute. We're wrapping things up here now. Thanks so much for joining us. Have a wonderful weekend and help me say it. As always, have a good day.
From downtown Terre Haute, a WTWO special report. The grand opening of the Larry Bird Museum.
That's pretty dope. That's pretty dope. So, like I said, whenever I go back to the States, I'm definitely going to hit up the museum, no question about that. And I definitely want to try that Airbnb experience out and bust out my Sony camera and, you know, do my thing, take some high quality videos, some high quality pictures. Like I said, maybe push a broadcast out from Larry's house. That would be dope. Got all these things I want to do, man. I swear it's not enough time. I got to get them all done, right? But no, that was dope, man. For a moment there, they were talking about, notice a little bit of emotion in Larry Bird for like, I don't remember at which point he was talking. It might have been initially when he got up to the podium. There was like a second where I felt maybe a little bit of him getting like choked up a little bit. But it's been a heavy time for Larry Bird, like you said, with everything going on. Especially you know, rest in peace to Bill Walton, and you know, trip down memory lane for Larry. A bunch of nostalgia that encapsulates who he is in his basketball career. So it's a lot. I can't see how you really can't get emotional, man. Looking back on everything you've achieved and how you've become an icon and a role model, you know, and a figure to millions of people across the world, and especially in your place of origin. So it's a beautiful thing to see, man. Has anybody been to the museum yet? Let me know in the comment section. What did you think about the museum? What was your favorite part? Please share your stories, share your experience in the comment section, no question. And go check out the website, LarryBirdMuseum.com. Make your reservation. I imagine it's going to be pretty jam-packed. I would imagine it might be a couple weeks before you can just easily, you know, find pockets in the day to get in when you want to get in. But we'll see. But like I said, people from all over the world are going to come and see this museum, as am I at some point. So if you ever see me down there at the museum, if you ever see me in Terre Haute, good old Terre Haute, please approach me. Hey, boo, I've seen you on YouTube. I like your Larry Bird stuff. Or I hate your Larry Bird stuff. Or I hate your Kobe stuff. I hate your Jordan stuff. But I love your Larry Bird stuff. Whatever you want to say, come dap me up. Be happy to meet you. I'm no celebrity, but if you see me, point me out. I might look at you for a second as I'm processing, who is this guy and how does he know my name? That's never happened yet in my life. Or somebody's be like, you're from YouTube. Channel's not big enough yet. We'll see what happens in the future. Appreciate you guys for stepping in. Check out our Larry Bird playlist. Like I said, check out the description of this video for the other quick link to the other Larry Bird stuff that you might enjoy. And y'all be blessed. Shout out to Larry Bird. Shout out to the Bird Gang. And once again, rest in peace, Bill Walton. Appreciate y'all for stepping in, and I'll catch you on the next one. We out, baby.